You're tuned into the deep dive. Today, we're really zooming in on the mortgage world. Specifically, we're taking a close look at Reliant Mortgage Solutions. They serve the Roswell, Georgia area.
I
Now, maybe you're listening because you're a local homeowner thinking about refinancing.
Or maybe buying your first place.
Exactly. Or maybe you're just trying to, figure out this whole mortgage thing.
It can be pretty complex.
Totally. So whatever the reason you're here, we've basically sifted through their website and also a document about their client experience.
To pull out the key info.
Yeah, the essential
Wow.
stuff. Our mission today, well, it's pretty straightforward.
Give you a clear picture of what they actually offer.
And how they approach it, so you, the listener, can feel a bit more clued in, maybe less overwhelmed.
Because it is a huge financial decision, let's face it.
No kidding.
So think of this as like your quick guide to understanding Reliant Mortgage Solutions.
Okay, let's dive right in then. What services are they actually putting on the table?
All right, so their main focus seems to be on two key areas.
Purchase and refinance.
Exactly. Helping you buy a home or helping you refinance the one you already have.
What jumped out at me first was how wide a net they seem to cast.
In terms of who they help?
Yeah, they specifically mention first-time buyers, people moving to their next home, even folks looking to downsize.
Ah, okay. So different life stages.
It feels like they're saying, look, wherever you are in your homeownership journey, we've probably got something for you.
Makes sense.
And they really highlight getting pre-approved.
Yeah.
That seems important to them.
Well, yeah. It's more than just knowing what you might afford, right?
Right. It tells sellers you're serious, that a lenders look at your finances.
Gives you a real leg up when you make an offer. A much stronger position than just, say, a pre-qualification.
Definitely.
So when we dig into the purchase mortgage side specifically, there are a few things they emphasize for accessibility.
Absolutely. Those lower down payment options caught my eye.
Like the 3% down?
Yeah, as low as 3% down payment on conventional programs, they say, and 3.5% on FHA.
That lower initial amount can be a huge deal for a lot of buyers. A real game changer.
For sure. And it's not just about digging into your own savings either.
What else?
They mention you might be able to use gift funds.
Ah, okay. From family, maybe.
Or even tap into retirement funds for the down payment.
Interesting. That flexibility could certainly open some doors.
Yeah, for people who are otherwise okay financially, but maybe haven't stockpiled a ton of cash.
And we should definitely mention the support for veterans.
Oh, absolutely. The 0% down VA loans.
That's a massive benefit. Really important.
It is. And another thing, the co-borrower option.
Right. Bringing someone else onto the loan to help qualify.
Could be crucial for some families, to actually get into a home together.
It seems like they're actively trying to find ways around common roadblocks.
It does. And it's not just about the numbers fitting perfectly from the start.
What do you mean?
They actually say, let's talk about solutions to help your debt to income and credit challenges.
Okay, so they're signaling a willingness to maybe problem solve a bit.
Yeah, look beyond just the raw figures and work with people. That sounds pretty encouraging, especially if your situation isn't like textbook perfect.
Good point. Okay, so that's purchasing. What about refinancing? Why would someone go to Reliant for that?
Well, they list a whole range of reasons, covers a lot of ground.
Like getting cash out.
Yep. Cash out for home improvements, maybe investing it somewhere else.
Debt consolidation too, I bet.
That's on the list. Or paying for college, those kinds of big expenses.
And then there's a simpler goal, just lowering your monthly payment.
Right, the no cash out refi, just aiming for better terms or a lower rate.
Makes sense. Common motivations.
But here's where it got kind of interesting for me. They bring up some specific refi situations.
Oh yeah, like what?
Like, no waiting time after you buy a home to refinance.
Really? So if you got a mortgage maybe in a hurry and the terms aren't great,
You might not have to wait the typical 6 months or whatever it usually is. You could potentially refi sooner.
interesting. And obviously improving your interest rate is always a big one.
Always. They also mention improving cash flow with a cash out refi.
Right, like consolidating higher interest credit cards into your mortgage.
Exactly. Could be a smart move for some, but
But you're turning unsecured debt into debts secured by your house.
yeah.
That's the trade-off.
Crucial point, definitely worth remembering.
What else did they mention on refi?
A no closing cost refinance program.
Ah, that's appealing. Those upfront costs can sometimes stop people.
For sure. And the option to refinance to a shorter term.
Like going from a 30-year to a 15-year.
Yeah. Your payments might go up monthly.
But you pay way less interest overall and own the home free and clear much sooner.
Right. And one more refinancing to get someone else off the loan.
Oh, that can be incredibly necessary. Like after divorce, maybe.
Exactly, or helping a kid establish their own financial independence, things like that.
So yeah, it paints a picture of a pretty comprehensive set of refinance tools.
Okay, so we've got a decent handle on what they offer. Purchase, refi, lots of options.
Right.
But how do they do it? Let's talk about what they call the Reliant Mortgage Solutions experience.
Okay. What's the vibe they're going for?
Their main message seems to be about a process that's clear, responsive, and stress-free.
Uh, Anyone who's been through a mortgage process knows that's music to your ears.
Isn't it just?
So how do they claim to deliver that?
Well, they talk a lot about speed, especially underwriting.
How fast?
They claim as quickly as anyone else in the county, and in some cases, it takes as little as a day.
Wow, okay. That is fast for underwriting.
They say it's down to their experience, structure, and our efficient, well-coordinated team.
Suggests they've really worked on their internal processes, streamlined things.
Seems like it. And they really, really hammer home the communication aspect.
Keeping clients in the loop.
Big time. They say communication is clear, the process is smooth, and there's never a moment of confusion about what's next.
That would be nice.
Wouldn't it? For someone navigating all this complexity, just knowing what's happening.
Takes a lot of the stress out.
Totally. They promise to stay ahead of the curve, so you, the client, never have to chase down updates or wonder where things stand.
That feeling of being informed, not lost, is huge.
It is.
Now, what's this about their team structure?
Yeah. They mention a dedicated team built around you.
Meaning?
It sounds like they have different specialized teams for each stage. Application, loan structure, processing, closing.
Okay, so division of labor. Could definitely lead to efficiency if it works well.
Right. Each team focusing on its specific part.
But wait, do they risk losing the personal touch with all these teams?
Well, that's the interesting part. They also emphasize that they've stayed intentionally small and personal.
How do those two things fit together?
They say they prioritize taking the time to get to know every client, understand their specific situation, their goals.
To provide tailored advice, not just push a product.
Exactly. So it's this blend they seem to be aiming for. Efficient systems plus personal attention.
Got it. A sort of best of both worlds approach.
That seems to be the goal. They talk about a straightforward, transparent approach, trying to simplify things.
Because, let's be honest, mortgage lending can feel incredibly opaque sometimes.
Totally. And their ambition, they say, goes beyond just closing the loan.
What else then?
They want clients to feel confident and supported the entire way through.
Focusing on the whole journey, not just the transaction.
Yeah, that seems to be a key part of their philosophy, at least based on what they say.
Okay, so that's what they say about themselves. But what about actual clients?
Right. Always good to check the real-world feedback. Their website has testimonials.
What's the general consensus?
Seems overwhelmingly positive, actually.
Any specifics stand out?
Well, a couple of names pop up. Mr. Trombetti and Sean are mentioned specifically. Suggest that personal connection we talked about.
What themes keep coming up in the reviews?
Patience is a big one. Lots of mentions of that.
That's huge, especially for first-time buyers who probably have a million questions.
Exactly. They also praise the informative approach, being detail-oriented.
Building confidence through explaining things properly.
Yes, and responsiveness. That comes up a lot, too.
Prompt communication, feeling like they knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Back to that communication point again.
Seems like they walk the talk there, based on these reviews. And for people who refinanced, efficiency and speed were often highlighted, like Will from Alpharetta mentioned closing quickly.
Okay, so the speed claim seems to hold up for some clients, too.
Yeah. And it's interesting, the reviews come from various places around the Atlanta metro.
Like where?
Woodstock, Atlanta itself, Alpharetta, Marietta, even Snellville.
Gives you a sense of their service area, their footprint.
Definitely paints a pretty consistent picture of, a client-focused company.
All right, so if someone listening is in that Roswell or Marietta area and thinking, okay, maybe I should reach out, how do they actually do that?
They make it pretty easy. Got a couple of phone numbers listed.
Okay.
404-641-1486 and also 770-234-5941.
Got it. Email?
Yep, email protected.
Straightforward?
Yeah.
And a physical address?
The contact page lists 2985 Gordy Parkway, Suite 114, Marietta, GA 30066.
Marietta, okay. Not Roswell itself on that page.
Not on the main contact page, no. We did see Roswell mentioned elsewhere, like on a consent form, I think.
Ah, so if the exact office location matters, maybe just double check when calling.
Good idea. And their hours seem pretty flexible, too.
Oh yeah, weekends?
Yep. Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., standard enough. But then Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., and even Sundays, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Wow, Sunday hours. That's accommodating.
Definitely could fit around different work schedules.
Okay, so let's try and bring this deep dive to a close. What are the main takeaways?
Well, Reliant Mortgage Solutions comes across as a very client-centric mortgage provider focused on that Roswell, Marietta area in Georgia.
Offering the core stuff, purchase and refinance.
Right, but with an emphasis on accessibility, different down payment options, different loan programs.
And their whole experience seems built on clear communication,
Mm-hmm. And that dedicated team structure.
aiming to simplify what's often a pretty complicated process.
And the positive feedback from clients seems to back up those claims, suggesting they deliver on that personal, efficient service.
Sounds about right.
So for you, the listener, whether you're, actively shopping for a mortgage right now in that area, or maybe you just wanted to get smarter about the process.
Hopefully it gives you a good condensed overview of Reliant, what they offer, how they work.
Yeah, having this kind of info distilled down can be super helpful when you're staring down such a big financial step.
Definitely. Which brings us, I guess, to a final thought for people to chew on. Given how much Reliant emphasizes that personalized service, taking time to understand your specific need.
Right.
If you were sitting down with any mortgage originator, not just them, what would be the absolute most critical questions you would ask to make absolutely sure they really get your unique financial picture and your long-term goals for owning a home?
That's a really good point. It's not just about the rate, is it? It's about the right fit, the right advice for you.
Exactly. Something to think about.